Yo, hey guys, Weeks here, back with another build guide video for Heroes of Hammerwatch. This one is going to be on the Sorcerer. The Sorcerer is basically a freeze mage in this game, and we're going to be building it for skill-based character. So for a skill-based character in Heroes of Hammerwatch, we're going to be using a combination of crit bonus, combo, and we're also going to scale the damage with some of the new statues by increasing our mana cost. And also, we'll get some scaling damage from our resist from a statue as well. So the Sorcerer has a primary ability, Frost Shard, that bounces around between targets. We're not really building towards the primary, so it'll just be a supplemental attack. We'll be using Comet to deal massive single target damage. In addition to freezing enemies, we will use Frost Nova as an AoE. It's especially useful in tight corridors. We're also going to be using Orb of Winter. This will be where we deal most of our damage because the cost is so high, and we'll be able to scale it even higher, which can do a lot of damage with the skill. We also have Biting Chill. It slows enemies and gives them a chance to freeze. Ice Barrier gives us some damage reduction after we cast an ability. And Shatter, which is kind of the clear for the Sorcerer. If we freeze and kill something, they will explode and do an AoE damage around that area. So we'll first talk about the chapel bonuses. In the first row, we take increased damage of our skills. We're basically only using skills in this build. Maybe primary slightly, but 20% increased of the skills is going to be our best bet here. In the second row, we're going to use Blessing of Mind. This gives us increased mana regen. The Sorcerer is super mana hungry, so we want as much mana regen as possible. Next, we're going to increase critical damage of our skills by 100%. It's very hard to get skill crit damage. There's only so much of it you can get in the game. This is definitely worth picking up Symbol of Focus. Lastly, we have Divine Hammer. I've messed around between Divine Hammer and Divine Strike. I personally like Divine Hammer. If I'm using my primary attack, I want it to be more punchy. I want it to do more damage. Also, the Sorcerer being a hybrid character, this actually is a physical damage. So you get to scale physical or magic pretty well, whereas Divine Strike is only magic damage. Next, we have our drink setup. We'll be using the following. We'll be using Frenetic Eruption to get into combo. We'll be doing a ton of crits with this build. We also need to be in combo to do more damage. We'll be using Evil Infusion to get life skill on our skills, but we lose 10% of our current health when casting a skill. What will pretty much happen is you'll cast a skill and you'll instantly leech back the amount of life that you just spent. The only time this does not happen is if you're casting and you're not actually hitting anything, so keep that in mind if you're spamming a bunch of skills and there's nothing around, you're just going to be spending your health for no reason. Next, we're also going to use Wicked Sickness. This is a combo build, so it makes sense to do more damage while in combo, and that's why I pick Wicked Sickness. We'll also be using Starlight Stinger. This increases the critical strike chance of skills by 15%. Which is very impactful because we are scaling crit in addition to crit bonus. So you want your spells to crit as often as possible so you can get the extra bonus damage. The last drink is kind of up in the air. We're personally using Elemental Bruiser right now, which increases the skill cost of all your skills by 50% and increases their damage by 75%. If you don't have good enough mana regen, you can take something else. I would recommend maybe Smelly Old Man. You lose a little bit of base health, but you get some pretty good regen. So I would use Smelly Old Man until you can use Elemental Bruiser efficiently. Okay, and items for this build, we're going to be looking for Staff of Volatile Casting or Lucky Hat, and you're going to craft the other one. Some other good supplemental items. Stinger, half your damage is physical, half your damage is magical. So penetration works at half efficiency. So Stinger, Stiletto, it still increases your damage, unlike some of the other casters, but it's not nearly as good as, let's say, finding Magic Pen on a caster that only does magic damage. Other good things you could find would be mana regen. Evasion's always good. More luck, more crit damage, magic penetration, armor penetration. All of that is really just going to help your damage. As far as item attunements go, you want to start off with Lucky Hat. You also want to start off with Staff of Volatile Casting. From there, depending on if you need survivability or damage, you can start picking up resist, armor, life, evasion, more life, even skill power. Definitely want to attune crit, I'll always go with life just to have even more base life, Curio's Case, some more armor. We'll just kind of scroll through all this so you can see everything we've attuned. Pretty much anything that deals with mana regen, has something to do with combo, has penetration, crit, resist, armor, even like stun for our primary attack, disarm for our primary attack. All of that is really useful. Anything with skill power or utility in the form of movement speed, you just eventually want to pick up just to have. Alright, for statues for this build, we're using Cedric. Cedric gives us mana regen and resistance. If we picked up a mana crystal recently, you want to be going out of your way to pick up mana crystals just to have a little more resistance, which will also give us more damage with the second part of the statue. Each level of the statue adds 5% of your resist to your skill power, so free skill power. As you get more resist, it turns resist items into damage items, turns up mana crystals into mana regen and damage and resist. It just works really well with what we're trying to do with this character. Next, we use Wylmir. Wylmir is 20% faster skills, which means the cooldown on our Orb of Winter is reduced by 20%. Also, each level of the statue adds 5% of the skill's cost as damage to your skills, which is one reason why we're using Elemental Bruiser, because it increases the damage of our skills by 50%, and that will increase along with this statue as well, which would be very nice. The only caveat to this is you want to avoid some items that reduce your mana cost, because it will actually lower your damage. And lastly, we use Bolgarthy. Bolgarthy gives us primary attacks, give us Combo Blast, which isn't super useful since we're not really a primary build. But it maintains the time we can stay in combo, which is very nice, which is why we run it. We want to be in combo as much as possible to get that extra damage boost, to get extra mana regen while we're in combo, to get extra just everything, movement speed. So this is going to conclude the guide on our Sorcerer. We are currently NG+16 with the character, and we've been having a ton of fun with it. I would definitely recommend, if you like the caster playstyle, I would say the Sorcerer might even be the best caster in the game, as far as I'm concerned. It just feels really nice. Some combination of the CC and the damage, everything is just really there. Feels really nice to play, really rewarding. So definitely check it out if that sounds interesting to you. And we'll see you guys in the next video.